I can't recall a great deal of my teen years. It's not like I'm way past those days, but as of now, that time period feels like a blur. Everything about it seems like a hazy memory that didn't consist of anything substantial. That is doing a great disservice to what I did at that age and how long it felt like it was going on for. As most of you might agree or relate to a certain degree, those school saga of our lives seemed like it was never gonna end. Every passing hour and day felt like it was deliberately passing slowly. In retrospect, I cannot imagine how I managed to do that week in, week out for multiple years. Basically doing something that didn't help me a lot. Even though I don't have any connection with people from that time, or a recollection of what I gained or learned from that whole experience, what I do vividly remember are my final moments there. There was something particularly significant about it. It began as a simple thought that came after an awfully turbulent phase in my life. A thought that later on became a mentality to live by. An unbreakable promise, if you may, which eventually became a way of living. A lifestyle with strict regulations and drastic changes that I chose to abide by. That if I don't make it by the age of 18, I will, without any doubt, end my life for the better. Of course, that isn't how my life panned out. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here making this video. However, it's not like I got past that mindset in the span of couple of days or months. I struggled with self-worth issues for a bunch of years. Overcoming that wasn't an instant change that turned around my life in a single day. Although, the time it took me to come to the realization of what success actually meant to me was an eye-opening event. It helped me in a life-changing manner, aiding my confidence-lacking ass to shred away from all those insecurities that I built up from a decade of being bombarded with the notion of how to achieve a prosperous livelihood. To expand on that, it's better to give a bit of context of my past dreams and aspirations. I was quite of an energetic individual when I was young, with a really animated personality. A lively kid, as they used to say. Being sporty by nature made me really attract towards anything that came under the umbrella of athletic recreational activities. Any sporting occasion was a much welcomed surprise for me to just run around. So it only made sense that I easily got deeply interested in football. That was the only thing I looked forward to in my weekdays. Waiting for the weekends to come by so I can play with my friends. And according to them, I was quite prolific for my age and physicality, as it gradually transformed from a hobby to a potential career opportunity that I can base my entire professional life around. I wouldn't say all of that made me egotistical about my technical abilities. I was just a typical young teen who found out what they were good at and got engulfed in that feeling of I've got the whole world to myself. My perception was swayed by what I consumed on the internet. Being young and successful, chasing the fame and fortune got the better of my younger self. I didn't know any better or had any guidance. I saw similar aged children being at the top and thought, I can. No, I should be able to do that. Not taking into account the tools and bountiful of opportunities they were offered from a really tender age. I wanted the world at my feet, to be the one who everyone looked up to. My name being up there with the greats, my face being recognizable in an instant for my achievements. It wasn't about money at any point, or any other materialistic gain. It was mainly about the lack of respect in my personal life, as I wasn't the sole reason for the unachievable scale of my grand dream. The unattainable nature of my goals wasn't a direct result of me being a stubborn child. Societal and family pressure to go on a path that brings success played a huge role in that part. Still, I wouldn't blame them or anything for my downcomings, even if it made me so adamant to just end it all if my endeavors didn't bear any fruitful outcomes or it didn't work out even in the slightest. It was all up to me to grasp it, but I failed to succeed. And believe me when I say this, I don't deal with failures in a healthy way. Or that's how it was in the past when I wasn't emotionally adept to take them well. The shame of being the one who didn't make it happen was deeply ingrained inside me. Nobody cares to give another chance to let anyone learn from their mistakes. The competitive way of being doesn't allow them to. It's either you took your chances at first try or you don't, and forever live or try to survive being labeled as a failure. But what does making it even means? To oneself and not the outsiders with their piercing, judgmental eyes. As it is clear to the majority of you, my footballing career didn't work out in my favor or panned out as I thought it would. Hence, I'm trying this YouTube thing as a side project to keep me mentally occupied. The pandemic was the final blow to that. But when the lockdown taketh away, it giveth with opening a new door. In all those downtime with nothing better to do other than contemplate about life, I decided to watch loads of films and video essays about them, which later on gave me the idea for this channel, speaking my heart out through the means of various media, mainly movies of the horror kind. As the usual route of continuing my studies and advancing to the higher level just to get hired for a 9-to-5 post was never going to work out for me. Placing my entire focus on a day job wasn't going to happen. I didn't want to lead a life of working my ass off just to die in the end of it. Living in a miserable headspace where the only source of joy was the next prominent date with shallow cultural importance. Yet, it's not like I've achieved a great deal of, well, anything in YouTube either. At least with my last venture, I was quite close to breaking that fierce and desirable professional barrier. But my concept of success or feeling of accomplishment has drastically changed over the years. 100k is just an insubstantial checkmark and 1 million leads to another fancy flat trophy. I don't wish to game a system that wants me to professionally accept what I ethically hate. Much like others, I blindly ride the waves of ups and downs that this platform throws at me through numbers. So, you might be wondering, why am I saying all of this when I was supposed to answer that age-old quandary of what does making it even means? Is it following your dream, or making money and being famous, or looking at this through a nihilistic lens? This is not gonna be another one of those motivational kind of video where I tell you to go after your aspirations to get hold of that bright future you always wanted, or pressure you to get into that weird hustle culture. There's no point in living in such unhealthy psychological condition only to acquire affluences that you don't know how to sanely use and end up being another one of those man-childs with deranged outlook towards humanity. Or become a self-absorbed individual driven by nihilistic ideals who doesn't believe anything matters because there is the higher odds of it not working out in your favor. No matter what, I can't be the one to answer that, as I didn't make it, or has made it, or is even close to making it now. Although, what I do have experience in is feeling and seeing firsthand the damaging after effects of massive expectations and what it leads to. I will not let my words dictate how one chooses to live their life. They know more than well how to continue their journeys and battle the restrictions that comes with certain unfortunate situations that they might be under. What I will leave you with is not being afraid to give your ambitions a chance. Its probability of prospering shouldn't be the factor that comes to play when deciding if you should go with it or not. The burden of regret that might arise with not trying it is going to be far greater or lead you to a worse mental state in the future. Never leave any of those what ifs to be pondered in your deathbed. Even in the worst case scenario, you might be able to learn and grow as a person. And that's what making it means. The life experience you gain from them leads to improvements towards openness and empathy, making us one step closer to act more human to each other. There is no financial, social, or age bracket standing as a barrier that is stopping you from thriving for better emotional maturity. The scale of your deeds isn't what determines its success. The surge of positivity it has the potential of providing is the key in its triumph, all while overcoming bountiful of obstacles that life throws at you. I have failed numerous times in different sectors of life. However, that is exactly what has made me the person that I am today, and I don't lament a single moment of it, but take immense pride in those ventures of mine. Younger me, much like others, thought life was a rather short ordeal, so it makes sense why we are so naive at that stage. Still, that doesn't mean it was wrong of me to act and behave in such manner. I was gravely shrouded with doubtful thoughts to clearly think about what I could have achieved even after that age limit that I set for myself as the penultimate day of judgment. So that's what I'm trying to do, with each passing day working on myself so I can finally justify all the sacrifices I made in the past, to make my strong-willed younger self proud. And that's what I want you to do for yourself, to finally make it as a person.